So where's the office? Back at division?
In the office, baby. Going out.
What's up, Buckeye Nation? You're tuned in to the Buckeye Cast.
Sets, fires, touchdown, Garrett Wilson. Wow! In the end zone. Oh, what a catch! Jeremy Rucker, give me that! Fields to throw, steps up, delivers deep down the field. He's got a receiver. Olave, touchdown, Buckeyes!
Now here's your host, Joe Warwick.
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
What is up? We are back, baby. How are the holidays treating you folks? Just as well as me? I doubt it. As always, this is the only commercial-free Ohio State football podcast. I gotta call out a few podcasts right now because I was listening to them today, and I listen to them regularly, but they interrupt a person's sentence with a fucking commercial, like 30 seconds or sometimes a minute of commercials.
I hate that. And then I forget
drives
what
me
they're
fucking
saying.
wild.
I forget what they were saying when they came back in.
Yeah,
they busted up at a very inopportune time.
Yeah, here's a question. Half of it's cut up. I don't know the question now. It doesn't make sense. Buckeye Scoop, you guys are huge violators of this. Who else?
I don't even think they get a say. I think that stuff's like random inserted ads.
I think they're
because I think they would time that better than. I mean, I watched a few things and that on YouTube, and the ads are just ridiculous.
Well, whoever's doing it is a big, big problem. I think anything on the 24/7 network, they do that shit too. All the podcasts just interrupt shit. Anyways, like I said, this is the only commercial-free Ohio State podcast. You might ask yourself, Joe, why are you so stupid to not do commercials? I will tell you why. Because we don't need commercials. I pay for this out of my own pocket. How do you like that? Give us a 5-star rating if you think that's cool. Subscribe, follow us, all that stuff. If you think it's cool to get commercials, go listen to other podcasts, I guess. We do have new hoodies in the supply store, so hit it up. I tell you what's been flying off the shelves this week. The Woody Hayes. Shawn, I know you have one. The Woody Hayes quote, because I couldn't go for 3 shirts.
Classic.
All week, every day, I'm sending out shirts. It's insane. I've never seen this kind of love for the Woody Hayes quotes. I'm gonna have to crank out some other different quotes and set those up for order. But quick bourbon talk. You guys dipped into anything recently? I'm sorry, I got Jeff and Shawn here as usual. Go ahead.
What's up, brother? No, just enjoying my Angels envy. That's it.
Nice. Yeah,
sipping
I
on
like
a nice
that.
glass right now.
That shit's
I like it.
smooth.
Nice and smooth. It's nice and smooth. You just pour a glass, let it sit, sip on it.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to enjoy my bourbon.
Yeah.
I'm just finishing up that new riff.
Nice.
Got to make a Costco run here before the holidays. Stock up on my non-perishables and see if I can't see if they got that legend and this new riff. I don't know. It's kind of grown on me, so I'm finishing up now, and it's drinkable.
So you know how our devices are always listening to us. I've been getting legend ads in Twitter like for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Of course.
Yeah.
Crazy quinkadink.
Yeah, because I've never ever spoken of it before. So I did.
For boating.
Yeah, I checked it out at ABC the other day. It looks like a good bottle. Might have to to grab a bottle. I don't have any experience with the Japanese whiskey front, so it's kind of an untapped venture for me.
Yeah, well, don't
Lost
be a
you guys.
pussy and try it.
I know the other Japanese things, but it's just not the whiskey part.
Fuck.
Leave that alone. Today, the ABC Vault opened up, and I was able to score a Stag Junior for 55 Dolores, and I got a private barrel Eagle Rare for like 38. So I'm pumped about that, waiting for those to come in. I have 2 logins for ABC, so that's how I was able to get 2 bottles, because you can only buy one at a time. So I'm super pumped about the Stag. We'll see about the Eagle. The way I see it is you can't go wrong with any kind of Eagle, but so boys, tonight I think we should talk about a little rerun of the Michigan State game. Seemed like it was 2 months ago. And then we talk about our future. Not like our individual futures, but Ohio State's future. So Buckeyes roll to a nice 42-point victory. Jeff and Shawn, let's start with Shawn. Give me your one big positive that stuck out to you.
Oh, I was trying to think. Do you got last week's scores? What did I pick on that score last week?
I got you right here, yeah. 33-17, you're way off.
What the? Okay. Well, that wasn't good. We did a hell of a lot better than that.
Sure did.
I would say my one positive has to be our play at center. No.
Was it?
That's not it. What would I say is our positive? I would say I guess this is, to me, probably Trey Sermon's most consistent game.
Yeah.
I'll get on offense. I'll go with Sermon.
Yeah. Jeff, would you take away as a huge your bright spot if you had to choose one? Jeff, are you there? I can't. No, he fell off.
Well, I'll tell you, Jeff's would be we stopped the run. You can't run on Ohio State lately. And
yeah, that makes sense.
We keep that in check, and things go well. It was nice to not give up 500 yards through the air this week.
Hey.
Yeah, I was getting ready to call you right back just now. I don't know what happened. I lost you.
Yeah. So
I was having trouble with my headphones too. Anyways.
Yeah. You probably hung up.
No, I probably didn't hang up. I'm just sitting here and the fucking thing went out. So, hey, it's 2020, man. Wait, we're all in this together.
That's right.
I'm going to use that tomorrow. I was just asking Shawn his highlight for the Buckeyes against Michigan State on offense, just his general highlight from the game. And he touched on Trey Sermon. What did you take away as if you had to choose one thing as a bright spot?
Are you talking about a play in particular, or just in general?
Just something that stood out to you.
Haskell Garrett's play and pick six, if you want to call it that, was awesome. I legitimately was like super happy for him.
Yeah.
And it showed that the celebration that the team had.
I mean, that's hands down story of the year, right? I mean, already.
Yes. I see Tom Rinaldi doing a nice slow intro, right, on ESPN. Maybe a 30 for 30. Who knows?
Oh, it'll get one of those game day stories.
Yeah.
Why did you feel when you were laying there, Haskell? But no, just the overall, just the complete dominance, the the proper showing for the team. They did exactly what they were supposed to do with Michigan State and Larry Johnson. The amount of excitement they had for him coaching, probably what mostly stood out. The celebration, just because everybody played. I mean, because they played the game they were supposed to play. No real setbacks.
I mean, after our second touchdown, I was getting texts, from my Sparty buddies that were like, "We just don't have the athletes to hang with you guys."
You didn't know that before the game?
Yeah, really did, but it was so apparent. I think it might have been when Garrett Wilson stiff armed that kid and walked into the end zone.
Right.
Yeah,
it was like okay,
that was a grown man run by a guy that's about 180 pounds.
Yeah.
But no, great to see. Great win. We played like what everybody expected us to play. What everybody thought that game would be like back in August or whatever.
Yeah.
We showed it. So it was good and that's the lasting image. It turns out until the conference title game, but ended up being the last image of the season.
Did you have a negative takeaway, Jeff? While we're on you?
Yes, I did. Why the fuck can a guy that is now our starting right guard he came to Ohio State and played center some.
I know he was a center, right?
Why does he not know how to snap the ball? And we don't need right in the perfect laser popping every time snap, but just something that if we didn't have the most athletic quarterback and one of the best athletes in college football playing quarterback, we could have easily went 3 and out, and on that opening first couple drives, maybe even. I mean, we can't afford to do that. That's the major only takeaway I saw was, holy shit, we need Josh Myers more than we thought we needed him, because I don't know if it was mental. It got to a point where it was either like he had the yips or something. I don't know.
Well, the other
drive me insane though.
The other thing is, and I guess maybe he's just not ready, but the kid, the kid from Erasmus Hall was recruited as a center. He's a junior now. What's his name?
Matt Jones.
Yeah.
Matt Jones.
He can't slide in there? Isn't he on the depth chart listed as a second center?
Obviously, they thought Miller was doing better. I'm sure they looked at a couple people.
They probably thought sliding Miller over would be better because the guys they got to bring
more
in
experience
are better than Jones or something.
Right.
Yeah. You need put the experienced guy.
But the inconsistent. I mean, if you're having bad snaps, it's usually you keep doing the same thing. You're doing it. His was all over the map. I mean.
Yeah.
So Justin
should be noted. Former shortstop Justin Fields.
I could not believe how calm he stayed during all of that
and made
all of those snaps. And just like I'm going to pick this ball up. There's 6 dudes trying to get me right now. All right, just grab this, and then I'm going to making plays. And unbelievable. I mean, most people are kind of. I mean, when that happens in a game, you're kind of freaking out and like, "Oh shit, I got to get on that ball." And he's like, "Okay, I'm going to go do this."
A lot of that too. Like we were playing. If we're in the fucking playoff game and it's Clemson or Notre Dame, their opening series, it's because our center's out. We have our right guard throwing a ball like that. We're not getting all those balls probably. And if so, we're going to be punting immediately. I mean, against the certain talent, that could have been super costly. But hopefully, it won't be a non-issue if Josh Myers stays healthy and we don't have any more COVID setbacks the rest of the year. But man, it was that glaring.
You better be back because it's going to be damn close to 21 days by the time the Big Ten championship rolls around.
I thought it. Obviously, you don't hear anything from the university on what the exact day, time is when they're all open. But
they all played the week before.
They all should. Everyone should be able to come back. Everyone who was part of the initial outbreak or whatever should be eligible. But
I think they said affected. So to me, that makes me think like, hey, they were exposed to someone and have to quarantine, but not necessarily had it.
Yeah, because contact tracing.
Right.
Like in your instance, Shawn, where lady where you work at, like you would have been held out of practice.
Easy on the HIPAA laws, bro.
Don't let people know my business.
Yeah, I got a sore hip.
I mean, what's going to be obvious, though? I mean, none of the guys, like, if you weren't injured, if you're not on the injury report all year, and you just don't show up in the game.
Exactly.
You don't travel. You're just not there.
Yeah, you just Josh Myers this week. And so, Josh, what were you doing last weekend? What's up, man?
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, the play of the game for me was, and I was actually at a bar watching this. We had one bar open that a buddy of mine found that has one side open to the outdoor, so it's considered an outdoor bar.
Nice.
And
loophole.
And I got in a little argument with the guy after Justin Fields ran down the field and made that block on the touchdown run.
Yeah.
What was that, like 60 yards downfield? I lost my mind during that moment. And there's a couple of, obviously there was around this fire thing left on TV at. There were a few Spartan fans and then enrolled a few Michigan guys. And I'm like, now that, I said, quarterbacks don't do that. I said, that is do you guys recognize how beautiful that is, what you just saw there? Oh, big deal or whatever. I was like, yeah, Rocky Lombardi's not doing that. I said, your boy Tom Brady isn't doing that.
No.
He's like, Tom Brady doesn't have to.
Okay.
I said, Tom Brady can't. I said he can't.
Yeah,
he couldn't do that.
He handed the ball off to a guy and then got the lead block at the 5-yard line to spring him. That's cool.
Actually, I was worried. I mean, get the head in front of there, Justin. That's a little too close to be screwing up that run.
Yeah, I think if that had been a receiver, he might have got flagged.
That was close. I love
it. You can't do that. You can't do that
close.
shit.
It looked real close live. It looked real close live, but then I saw that picture the other day from behind, and he clearly clipped the guy in the front because the guy's sliding, falling towards his back. So it looked the still was a lot more clear.
Well, the technique you have to use now is more of a shield. You can't just clean the guy.
Yeah.
You have to just shield him, glance him a little bit, just enough to slow him down and not completely take him out. That's the play that most guys use on a punt return and shit like that. Kick return.
But man, what effort.
That was awesome, yeah. Yeah. So, what do you want to dig into on this game quickly? I want to get into tonight. I want to talk a little, we're not going to break down the Big Ten championship game. We can talk about having the Michigan game canceled and what that means. And then if we have time, we can talk about the CFP implications, but there really won't be any until after next week. So as far as the Michigan State game goes, anything you want to really touch on other than your terrible predictions? I nailed the Michigan State score, thanks.
Let's go to the scores. Let's recap the scores.
Oh, you dropped off. I missed it big time.
I had 40-12 Buckeyes, so I nailed Sparty's score.
Oh, yeah, that was sweet with the late safety.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Backdoor safety cover.
Oh, it was a cover anyway. But, Shawn, you had 33-17. Jeff, you had 38-13. Did we hit the over? No, we did not. 59.5 was the over-under. Wait, we did. Yeah, 64. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking 40.
The game did. Yeah.
Come on, Joe. Yeah. Math is fun.
Yeah. It's too late for that shit.
I just listening to the pros and all the analysts and all the bullshit you see.
Okay, let's start right there. I'm sorry, Jeff. I gotta jump in on you before I forget my point. How about that fucking camera angle from ESPN? What was the quality of that shit? Did you see that? Was that even HD? That looked like it was shot in the 80s. Am I wrong?
I don't know. It feels like I don't know. The budget's cut this year. I feel like there's a lot of camera and stuff. It almost looks like high school coaches getting getting it filmed.
Somebody's iPhone?
Yeah, you know what, Joe? Yeah, I did see it, but mine changed some.
Really?
Mine changed a little, but it was shitty most of the time. But then I never know if it's the shitty internet service that we have here in suburban
I don't
Orlando.
think so, dude.
All right.
If we're seeing the same thing.
I did notice it because I got a my setup. I got 3 brand new TVs. I say brand new, like less than 2 months old. They should be sparkling. And I'm looking at the screen. I said, my wife. I said, "Hey, what's that shit?"
The colors are terrible.
What is it? Is it the YouTube TV? Is it the internet? What is it?
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi.
It's what they're shooting with. The colors were like really drab, and you couldn't see the cocaine whites, which I really want to see popping off the screen, And it's just.
I agree. I think if that game was on Fox, I want to see those. I want to see those white uniforms again. Sure.
And then those announcers, dude. Why is Dan Orlovsky doing fucking football games, especially from a studio, much less in person? That was pathetic.
Because he doesn't leave. I don't know why they don't send out announcers, but Dan Orlovsky is an NFL Live studio host, or not a host, but a studio guy at ESPN.
Just an analyst.
He watches a ton of film, and he played a lot of quarterback, very awfully.
Yeah.
But he played a lot of it, and he studies the shit out of it. But I don't know why he's doing games.
That whole broadcast was a shit show, man. I mean,
2020, baby.
Exactly. I mean, I never. What I was getting to was, nobody knows anything what's going to happen these years. Like we're trying to figure out, this might be a low-scoring game, and then it rattles off 64 points. We don't.
That's why
everything's up in the air, man. I don't know how gamblers are making any money, and most of the people that are making picks are not doing well as far as what they're. I hope they're not using their money what they're saying on TV.
Yeah. So Sermon goes for 100 yards. Fields goes for 100 yards. 2 touchdowns rushing. C.J. Stroud goes for 48. And a touchdown. So Olave has a nice day, but the 2 fumbles concern me.
He's made that same fumble in the same spot in the field like 2 other times this year.
Yeah.
He goes for that extra yard. He gets fucking hammered in there by the safety and the other dude that's tackling him, whether it's a corner or linebacker. And he takes some hard hits in there. Gosh, worry about the guy's safety, but man, he coughs that one. It's the same play every time that he coughs it up.
Yeah, he needs some weight on him. He needs some girth. He's got to get a little bigger. I'll tell you who my new guy is. Rocket Ronnie Hickman. He don't take no shit. You kick his fucking helmet, he's gonna get in your ass. That's some bullshit too. And then Coach Combs is up in his ass on the sidelines. He's like, "What am I supposed to do, Coach? Kick my helmet? Fuck you."
Yeah,
I was on his side, man. I understand he took a bad 15-yarder, but hey, man, you can't just blatantly kick the kid's helmet around. That should be a penalty.
That should be unsportsmanlike conduct immediately.
I think it is a penalty. They didn't call it.
I mean, if it's blatant, I mean,
this shit wasn't in the play. The play was over.
If a referee witnesses a guy kicking an opponent's helmet, and not kicking it like rolling it to him, but yes, that should be called as a penalty every time. And in a lot of situations, you would see it thrown, But I liked what we saw from Ronnie Hickman.
He's getting some tackles. He's getting on plays. Yeah,
he fires to the football.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I think he showed out. Like he was one of those guys who's like, oh, I see 14. I see him working out here. He's making an impact. So yeah, maybe it'll lead to it should lead to more playing time. I don't expect that 15-yard penalty to be a hindrance in whether he plays or not.
Well, he was in there because Proctor was out. I mean, that's why he was there. But shit, man, I don't have any issues with him getting on the field more often until he fucks up, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the secondary obviously did a lot better. And
yeah, you guys think that's a result of the offense we were going against?
Well, we would have looked a lot better. Yes.
That's where I'm
yes, the quick answer. I wish Lombardi would have stayed in there because we would have looked a hell of a lot better. That dude that they brought in, he's their starting quarterback.
He started out like 11 for 11 or something stupid like that.
But they also changed their play calling. You notice that? They were going very conservative, short throws where Rocky Lombardi is just chuck it downfield guy.
Yeah, but I think I'm with you, Jeff. I think Sparty owes us, a thank you. We found their next quarterback.
Yeah, I think so. Because now you can roll in. I think. Are they gonna play a bowl game? It's like optional this year, right? Like you can. Play
I don't think they would. They're like 2-4.
No, I don't.
But I think everybody's eligible. There's no bowl eligibility.
Exactly.
But I thought I read something where like three of the Big Ten bowls, like there are some garbage ass bowls, but the 3 bowls that Big Ten are already
they got canceled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these coaches, even if you had a 500 record or a losing record like that, they would take it just for the extra 15 practices or whatever.
But being new, if there's an opportunity to, they would take it.
I will say I saw today on Twitter though that Boston College Coach Hafley, they opted out of bowl eligibility. They personally decided because this season has been such a strain on their team and their players that they're opting out.
Oh yeah, sure they are. I've been on some boards and I think old Hafley's opting out so he can opt into some bigger job maybe.
You think already? After 1 year?
I hear rumblings.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think he'll be listening to offers, and there might be some offers.
It all depends on what happens up here in Harbaugh, but I think Michigan fans want him.
I wasn't even thinking Michigan or Texas. I was just thinking.
I would
say he's probably the highest on that list.
All right, then let's lead right into that since that's a hot topic is the contract extension, I guess, that Michigan has offered him is a lower salary but higher incentive-laden contract. I gotta say, I think that it's almost an insult to a guy like
Hold on, has it been offered? We got official news on that?
Yeah. John Bacon.
John Bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
My
think
Bacon.
that's confirmed.
John My Bacon. I love some bacon. He said, he has sources that this contract has been offered. It's like a 3-year extension, lower salary, like base, but more incentive rate. Lower buyout. Right? That's key. That's what I heard. Yep, that's key. So I'm not sure. That almost seems like a slap in the face, doesn't it? I mean, if
you're okay if he doesn't take it, like you can say you offered him,
right?
But was it really acceptable?
That was rumored, and then I didn't watch. I was in the car and I listened to the presser with Ward Manuel and Jim Harbaugh.
Right.
About canceling the Ohio State game. And reporters started asking about this extension and that. And those two dumb fucks couldn't have handled it any worse. And, I mean, who knows what's going on with those cards. Yeah. I mean, if I were a Michigan fan, oh, gosh, I would be hating my coach, hating my AD. These guys don't know what the fuck they're doing, I swear. So
Well,
I'm
it
hoping he
shows.
gets the. I'm hoping he gets the extension. I'm really hoping he gets that extension.
Yeah, my point is, I think it seems like a slap in the face if you're a Harbaugh, a former player coming back here. You brought the program back to somewhat respectability, and now you're getting a cut in salary, essentially.
Well,
and
you know what?
He's way underperformed, Joe. He's way underperformed.
Even if you take another job, you're getting a cut in salary. You're not going up in salary. I don't care if you
not if he goes to the NFL.
He ain't gonna make more in the NFL.
No,
He will too.
No.
More than $8 million.
Oh, he will too.
How much are these guys making now? And it's not like and Harbaugh's stock has went way down. He's not gonna pull the money that he would have pulled in 2015.
I think the top coaches. I think the top NFL coaches are around 8 to 10 million.
No,
the top 2 or 3. And Harbaugh's not coming in. He's not coming in. He's 8 and a half, whatever. I know it fluctuates year to year, with the deal, but it's something like 8 and a half that he's making now. Like
I would think you would drop him and say, you know what, you're gonna make less than Ryan Day.
Well,
and you beat Ryan
John
Day, you
Gruden's
can
making
more.
$10 million a year.
And he's like the highest though.
He's up there. Matt Rules is up there.
So you think Jim
Carolina.
Harbaugh comes in and smashes the ceiling on NFL coaches? I don't.
Not necessarily, but I think well, according to John Bacon, he's been offered five teams have shown interest.
Well, Johnny Bacon.
Well,
Johnny
like
Bacon's
I
also
heard
friend of the family.
on that Valente show. Yeah, you know what? Everyone's kicking the tires. Oh, hey, let me look at Harbaugh. What's been going on with him? We haven't paid attention to him since he left. And they're like, oh, he fucking sucks. I mean,
he's true. Maybe we can get him cheap.
And you know, it's like a lot of things I'm reading up here is like, you look at Harbaugh when he got hired into Michigan and the fire and, you know, the goofiness and whatever, which was annoying as fuck. It's like, he's like a broken man now. I mean, you see him and he's a stumbling fuck. And it's kind of sad to see, but I don't think he's the same Harbaugh. And I also don't think the college game. I don't think the college game suits him. I think I think the best choice would be for him to go to NFL, go to the Detroit Lions, try that out. You don't even have to move, you know. But gosh, I hope he stays.
I can't imagine that would strike me as bizarre as all hell. If he stayed and coached the Lions and stayed in the state of Michigan, I just don't think he would ever. I don't think
the thing. It's a weird thing up here.
He's not tied to that area though. But it's a weird.
No, but he loves the university and Schembechler, and frankly, the university loves him. They want him out of there now, and they probably wish this never happened because they loved Jim Harbaugh. They absolutely loved him.
It's an impossible situation for both parties. I mean, just like Scott Frost at Nebraska, you know, they're probably not super happy with the results so far, but he's their, you know, their all-star, their all-timer. You can't just cut him and let him go.
You know, it'd be like firing Archie Griffin or something like that.
Yeah.
Beat it, loser.
Firing Rich Rod is way easier.
Right. Yeah, it's a shit show. It's a mess, and good for them.
Keep him. But I think his interest will run out if it hasn't burned out already. It will definitely burn out before these next 3 years are up. There's no way, Shawn, from what you're saying, in the press conferences and stuff, and the way he tries to think of excuses and answers for questions, but he ends up just rambling. I don't see it. I don't see him making 3 more years. Where's the turnaround coming?
Well, I think that's probably why the buyout is totally. They're throwing it out there 3 years because you have to for recruiting and for a myriad of reasons. So you got to throw out at least multiple years. But the reality of it is, you got next year, Harbaugh, and if you don't fucking do it, you're gone, and we will do the buyout because we negotiated it down. That's That to me is the most logical.
Well, we see
of it all.
the recruiting rankings, and they have nothing coming down the pipeline. So that's a big challenge. We see them not being able to develop any position groups, especially quarterback. So what else is there? I don't know. I know that there are limited options as far as other coaches that you could hire, but what else? I don't know what they expect.
Well, that's the other thing that I heard. They're like, or a bunch of speculation. I didn't hear it. Is that what is being talked about with Harbaugh staying, because pretty much the fan base, alumni. I think they want that. If Harbaugh stays, the staff needs to be nuked. It needs to be Don Brown's gone. That doesn't work anymore.
That's a great point. I want to touch on that. This is a noticeable issue. None of his coaches on his staff are wanted men by other teams. Gaddis, Don Brown, nobody. I mean, we got Madison, okay, but Al Washington was probably the only highlight of his coaching staff, and he's gone to Columbus. So
I would say that most people, what they're saying up here, like the best coach on the staff, the one that they don't want to see go, is Warner. I
think they should make him OC, actually.
Yeah, right.
That would go real well.
Whatever you can do to get him in front of the microphone more and get
I
get him more in charge.
Much, but that's like the one. And I always thought he was a really good O-line coach and a shitty offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But you become a Larry Johnson and be an iconic O-line coach.
Well, yeah, I guess you have to know your role and stick to it. Unfortunately, he ventured a little outside of his comfort zone, him and Tim Beck, both.
But they still got their 5-star quarterback coming in next year.
They'll ruin him.
I know.
He must be. What's his name? J.J. McCarthy? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
He said something. He posted something on Twitter, like it was the day after.
It's still 100% committed.
Maybe the day after it announced that they couldn't play or something. Because they can't wait to be signing on early.
The goofy thing is, in that press conference, when they asked the Harbaugh and that Ward about the contract, they said, we're waiting till the end of the season to talk about it. We haven't really talked about it. And we're waiting. And they're like, well, they're canceling the Ohio State game. They're like, it's the end of when is the end of the season? We're here.
So now, you mean?
And he's like, the end of the season's the 19th. And they're like, well, National Signing Day is the fucking 16th.
Exactly.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. You think those kids, those few kids you might have you signing?
I mean, yeah,
they would like to know. I'm sure they would like to know if they're coaching.
I am so hoping there is a stud kid up here out of Grosse Pointe, a cornerback. He's like top 10 corner. And I think he's a big, heavy Michigan lean right now. That's the type of kid that I think, kid, are you kidding me? You're going to go there?
Yeah.
You got the fast track to the NFL.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, the Ohio State's obviously, if he's not committed and he's that high ranked, Ohio State.
He's not committed, and Ohio State. If you look at 247, Ohio State's on the list.
Gotcha.
But I think all the predictions are Michigan.
We'll see how that plays out.
Another kid, that kid out of California, that Damani Jackson.
I think these two are buddies, and they're going to be like package deal, maybe.
From Mater D, I think. Is that right, Joe?
Mater D.
Mater D, whatever.
Is that the guy that gives you your table at a restaurant?
Yeah, I always wonder why they named this high school after.
It's modern day.
Modern day. Whatever the fuck. Mater D.
I thought it was Mater D.
Whatever.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm very sure. It's Latin.
Oh, from the Latin? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought it was from the Greek. Fucking
From the Latin. From the Latin. You're an asshole. right,
So what else do you guys want to
What the
cover?
fuck I was talking about?
Jeff, you got your headphones in? I can't hardly hear you.
I don't know. Yes, the headphones.
There.
That's
Sounds
better.
great.
I still want to have to go back and edit all this audio. It takes me forever. What else you guys want to talk about? You want to talk about the Michigan game getting canceled? Briefly.
Yeah.
We saw it coming. We all saw it coming.
Herbie
Yeah,
saw it.
we called this like 3 weeks ago, didn't we?
Herbie saw it coming. Yeah, I called it, I think, maybe like second week. Or maybe after our first cancellation. Like, oh, here we go. Give Michigan a chance to. That's why we should have played them early in the year. You give them a chance, because now it just, whether they did it on purpose or not, it's a bitch ass look.
If you note that initial schedule that came out from the Big Ten, the very first one,
They were third.
it was early in the season. Now, second or third version, whatever. It was last game and then whacked.
And it puts Michigan in a bad spot. And
Puts us in a bad spot.
especially it looks really bad because it's like half the fan base and is calling for it, and Herbstreit's calling it out on national TV, and he goes and then apologizes or whatever. But it kind of and we were talking about it, like you said, weeks ago on here. It was, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it. They're so awful. Again,
A 2-4 team. Didn't give a shit.
I argued about this with a couple of Michigan guys, but I'm like, it's unbelievable. I said, I don't care if Ohio State was the worst team. I couldn't wait to play you guys. If you were number one ranked, all right, good, let's play. And it's like, you guys are defeated. And with a fan base like that, how do you get the recruits?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the whole package with these schools, I think. And
well, we talked about it.
Ohio State got these fan bases, and
Yeah.
it's like Michigan's the whole thing, and with Harbaugh, they're defeated. I love it. We did it.
We've talked about it forever. I mean, it's a cultural issue. Their culture is fucked. I mean, you got Joe Milton on the sideline of games saying he's going to transfer. Are you fucking kidding me?
I want to hear more about that backstory. I want to hear the backstory on that. Like,
I didn't go
like
and research that at all.
Who actually reported it? Like, was it other players that said, "Yeah, we heard Joe talking on the sideline," or was it like an unnamed source?
Well, it's got to be, right? Because no one else is there.
I asked.
Right. I mean, like, how does that get out?
I asked a couple of Michigan insiders on Twitter, and they said it was 100% true. And I'm just like jaw dropped. You got to be fucking kidding me, man.
Like, so it was one of the games he got pulled, so he comes off after he gets pulled from the game.
The last one where McNamara came in and then he got hurt.
McNamara?
Yeah, McNamara. What?
Yeah, nothing.
He actually looked decent.
I'm laughing
Better
at the whole program and the whole state there. Shawn, I'm laughing at that whole state. Like, just everything about Michigan cracks me up.
The funny thing about it, the ebbs and flows of life. I thought Michigan State, after D'Antonio and all this, I thought Michigan State was going to go into the bin of history in Big Ten football.
Mm-hmm.
This may resurrect them again and give them another little 5-year spurt. Because who wants to go to Michigan?
Right.
And Michigan State's popular up here. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Ohio State if you're that good a kid, but if you can start getting, those next tier kids where Michigan State the last couple of years is getting some bottom of the barrel. They'll get an Antoine Simmons or, a kid like that once in a while, but
right.
I mean, few and far between.
Yeah, and the Buckeyes cooled on him just as equally. So I think that was a two-sided scenario. Maybe
I wonder why, because he seems like a really good kid.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I hate not having the Michigan game though. That just is gut wrenching. No matter how big a favorite we are, 30-point favorites, I get it. We were going to smash them. It wasn't going to do anything for us.
Right. It only Michigan. Hey, make it a game. Show some pride. Because I was arguing with those guys. It's like I was like, no one wants to play this game. Michigan's like happy not to play this game. It's like you guys are. I'm like, I can't believe that. He's like, well, I think the players and the coaches want to play. But do they? Michigan hasn't really looked like they want to play all year.
Yeah. Did you guys see what happened after the pre-Thanksgiving game? Or I'm sorry, post-Thanksgiving Saturday? Michigan was at Maryland?
Penn State. We were supposed
Penn
to play.
State. Yeah.
They were at Penn State. We were supposed to play Maryland.
And they were tweeting out pictures and things of hanging out with their families after the game and doing Thanksgiving dinners and stuff that weekend. And it was obvious that they really didn't give a fuck about their corona testing, and they were just, Ohio State kids are not doing that. They're taking, this very seriously, and they're probably not going to be able to see their families for Christmas either.
And it's give a fuck level. Like what?
Exactly.
What level? Yeah. There's
GSF.
no culture in the program. There's no culture in the program, and so they're just like, what the fuck are we gonna just go through all this hell for? We're not going anywhere. We're not gonna go play in a bowl game. The season's done. It sucked. We don't know if our coach is gonna be around.
Like our coach.
They just got beat by an 0-5 team.
Our quarterback said he's transferring. Our pets' heads are falling off.
I think their pets' heads are long gone. But I just thought it was pathetic, and it showed that thinking back to that weekend made me remember that they really stopped giving a shit if they ever did. And like we just said, it's culture, and I think you got to have a coaching change to change the culture at this point.
Yeah, after
6 years in,
you're not changing. Your words are not ringing out like they used to. So you can't just expect them to. Oh, he'll turn the culture around this year. Why would you think that after the sixth year is going to be the trick? I don't know, man, but they're a fucking mess. I don't see
because they're dancing on glass, man.
But you know what though?
That program's about to implode.
All it really takes is if they land on the quarterback. If this JJ McCarthy if he's the real fucking deal, then if they hit on the quarterback,
right,
that shit can turn around in college football. It will turn around night and day.
Yeah, but you got to coach the quarterback. I don't think it's that. I guess he hit on luck,
Yeah, I'm not saying I have not seen this kid. I have not seen the kid at Michigan. I've not seen him one bit. Haven't seen any tape. I don't even know his measurements. So I know nothing about him. So, but if he's a 5-star kid, obviously a lot of people have, and they think he's going to be really good. So if he hits on him, and then say year 2, what was that, 2022? He's the starting quarterback, or maybe even as a freshman, and they could have a squad, and by his third year, and then
but you still got to put people around him,
he's shown nothing that he can develop a quarterback and a system. It's not a gimme, but if he does, if it's right, if it's the right match, you know how it is. You can turn a program around in college, just with that. So that's really all he needs. And that's what the main problem.
Well, it's what it takes to win a national championship anymore. To win the big games, to compete, you got to have an elite quarterback.
But you got to put up points, and you got to play some semblance of defense. I haven't seen them play any defense.
No, because they make their corners man cover the whole game,
right.
and that's fine against Rutgers. Well, not this year, it wasn't.
Sure.
But most years. Well, no, they won that in triple overtime, right?
Yes,
they
did. They did finally score more points than Rutgers.
They chopped a little harder
in the seventh quarter.
But yeah, that shit don't fly trying to man up on Wilson and Olave.
No. We've seen that story.
Yeah, in all honesty, yeah. What were they gonna do? What was Don Brown? Was Don Brown just gonna come out in like a cover two, like a Tampa 2 defense?
I think he might have. I think he might have
like
curled up on the sideline, started sucking his thumb, like.
Yeah.
Maybe I just act like I have a stroke.
Stop beating me, man.
I'm old enough. If I just act like I'm stroking out, they'll just take me off the field, right?
Yeah. So. Buckeyes roll, and so last topic here from the last 5 minutes. CFP rankings. I think it's set up nicely. They've kept Ohio State at number 4. There's no reason to drop them.
Not until Florida upsets Bama.
Yeah, Jeff, that's reading my mind.
That's not happening. Have you seen Bama play once?
Yes, I've seen plenty of both of them.
Okay.
I think Florida can score 40 points on Bama. Now Bama can probably score 60.
Yeah.
But I would take it over 80 points in the SEC championship.
Have you seen?
Where do they play that game?
I don't think it matters.
It's in Atlanta, like it always is.
Yeah. But you like how the ACC fast tracked Clemson and Notre Dame into their conference championship?
I've enjoyed listening to a few Miami Hurricane fans.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Notre Dame win that game.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Actually, I think.
I think that's.
I don't
what do
know
you
how
mean? You think?
I don't know how a college football playoff committee right now today keeps Clemson out of the playoffs.
Not today.
They have two
another
losses.
game to the same team.
If they have 2 losses to this, and they're both to the same teams, that team goes. You don't.
And that team's going to go in the playoff. You might have to play them a third time. That ain't
Well,
that ain't right.
No, I agree that nobody wants to see that.
I'd let
But
Florida or A&M
again,
before that.
I think Clemson is going to crush them. It's not going to be close. They barely beat Clemson in overtime the first time around.
If Clemson
Trevor
crushes
Lawrence.
them, you think that knocks Notre Dame out?
For sure. Yeah.
You think so?
Well,
Fuck yeah.
why do you assume, Joe? Why do you assume that that's a gimme? That if they lose, if Notre Dame loses by 3 touchdowns,
Dude, they're not taking 2 ACC teams to the fucking playoffs. Why would they?
Because
you can't just assume that though. They're with 1 loss, and their only loss being to the number 3 team or whatever.
they split with them.
But everybody.
I don't know. If Florida beats Bama and Clemson wins, then we could be left out because of our number of games played.
I agree. We're in big jeopardy of that.
See it. There's so much blowback right now saying the whole our whole conference has folded everything in order just for us to make the playoff. I think there's a lot of resentment nationally about that.
Well, but they want Ohio State in that playoff.
Exactly.
The playoff does. They do, yeah, but I don't know.
If they can have Notre Dame, okay, we got the Midwest covered.
Yeah, you're still putting in Clemson, Alabama, Notre Dame. You got your names covered, and then Florida. Jesus Christ!
Nothing west of the Mississippi.
Well, there's nothing else out there. I don't want to hear about USC's undefeated and shit. They played 4 fucking games. Oregon. I thought Oregon was supposed to be like a playoff team going into the season. Where are they? Not even ranked. not in the top 25.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and start bragging about conferences because the Big Ten is shit.
I tell you what, though, I think the Big Ten is all down, but I think the Big Ten is more. There's more parity, I think, than there has been in a lot of years. There's usually, been three good teams
below Ohio State, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, below us. Yeah. Like we've ascended, and then, but I think our second place is close to our seventh place as it's ever been.
Well, I agree with that, Jeff.
So I don't know. That's good and bad, I think.
My problem is there used to be Penn State, Michigan, and Wisconsin that were just below us. They were in that second tier of college football where they could go, play with anybody in the country, essentially. Now we don't have that. Now we go straight to the middling. It's like Ohio State and then all middling teams.
Right.
You got 5 of them, but none of them are like wow. And Illinois or Indiana's having a great year, but Indiana isn't going to beat Clemson and fucking Bama. I don't care if Penix is healthy.
Well, just getting back to the top 4 of the playoffs, let's go by what is probably going to happen. I mean, we can look at spreads, and Vegas will tell you what's going to happen. We're going to end up number 4, playing Bama in the first round. Clemson and Notre Dame may flip-flop if Notre Dame wins that game. But, if Clemson wins that game, which most likely will happen, they might flip, 2 and 3. But we're still going to end up playing Bama, the number 1, in the first round.
So you're saying, regardless of who wins the ACC championship game, they're both going to go?
That's how I see it. Because Bama's going to beat Florida.
So Clemson and Notre Dame, they're going to set them up to play a third time, guaranteed. That I don't see.
I don't either.
And Clemson won't go with 2 losses.
How you bring in then? Okay, here's your option, dude. You bring in a 7-1 Texas A&M at number 5 right now. You gonna flip them for Notre Dame?
Yes.
Oh God.
No, I say, I just, if Clemson loses, giving them 2 losses to the same school, that school is in Notre Dame. They are out.
Yep.
And probably A&M. Yeah, we slide to 3, A&M to 4. So it's us, Notre Dame, A&M, Bama rematch. If Bama wins comfortably against Florida,
dude,
because they could put Florida.
If Florida was like Bama overtime touchdown. That's a play-in game. That's a play-in game for Florida.
It is. You're right.
Game.
That's how it should be. They got 1 loss. They lost in conference. They're playing for the conference title. They lose conference title. It's 2 losses. You're out. See ya. Yeah, it'd be A&M. A&M or Cincinnati.
Florida's going to win that game, and we're going to be 5th.
They're not going to put in 2-loss Clemson. I don't give a fuck. No. Fucking sunshine or not.
They're not going to lose, dude. That's my point.
Okay.
If Lawrence was playing the first time around, they would have won handily at Notre Dame. And the committee's going to take that into account.
If you think Notre Dame stays in, what's going to happen is Bama will be 1, Clemson will be 2. So when Clemson wins, Ohio State will go to 3, and Notre Dame will be 4.
Yeah. Yes.
That's fine, but
I think I see because they want the Clemson Ohio State rematch, and then you got Bama.
Yeah, that's
Notre
a huge
Dame.
Game.
That's huge. Bama Notre Dame. Then, that's the CFP's golden fucking goose right there. If they get those 2 matchups in the opening rounds, that's the best you can ask for.
Yeah,
I don't care what any fan base says in the country.
That's the only way it could happen, because you can't take a 2-loss Florida. You can't take a 7-1 Texas A&M who has beaten nobody. The
only thing is if, like Jeff said, I think you're selling them short. If Florida beats Bama, they're both in, and Clemson's in. And then is Notre Dame in or Ohio State? That's going to be the. You got to root against your Gators down there, boys.
Yeah,
I
rooting for,
have no problem rooting against Florida. I have a problem rooting for Bama.
right. That's where
But I have
we're
no
at.
problem rooting against Florida at all. I will kick a fucking Gator all day long. But man,
That's where it's at.
there's and since 14, 6 years, they've never taken a 2-loss team, and there's not a need to take one this year. It's not like there's one undefeated and everybody else has 1 and 2 losses. There's like you're not down to the they're not going to take the 2-loss team this year because you're going to have an undefeated Ohio State. You're going to have a 1-loss A&M, a 1-loss.
You're going to see Cincy sneak in there.
There's going to be plenty of deserving 1-loss teams to go before a 2-loss team goes, especially if you lose to the same team twice.
I think if Notre Dame gets crushed, they're in jeopardy of getting knocked out of the top 4.
I'm rooting for Notre Dame. Notre Dame wins, Clemson's out. Yeah. And then we're guaranteed in pretty much.
Yeah, and only selfishly, I want Clemson, and I want
I'd
to play
be
Clemson.
yeah,
Just
I know.
selfishly.
I really this year, pre-COVID, I thought, okay, this is the year. This is rematch time with Clemson. It's going to come to that, and I'm still hoping it does.
But
Yeah,
I mean, I'm going to root for
I'll
Notre
take it.
Dame. I'm going to root for Notre Dame to beat them a second time, just so it gives us a clearer path to the playoff.
Depends on what time those games are.
We're at noon. I'm guessing the ACC is probably going to do the 3:30, and then SEC the 8. If I had to guess, Florida and Bama are getting the primetime game for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure yet, but all right.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the SEC does the 3:30 game sometimes, the title game. So they might give Notre Dame and Clemson prime time. Where are they playing that game at? That Charlotte?
Usually, yeah.
Where the Panthers play, their stadium, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Is the Big Ten championship usually a noon game? I thought that was usually a night game.
It's
Usually
Not this
a
year.
night game. It's usually a night game, but they moved it to the big noon kickoff.
Yeah.
It's Fox.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So right now they got Clemson, Notre Dame at 4, Bama, Florida at 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be a great day to watch football, though.
That's gonna be the
But we
best
can
day
go
of
out.
the year.
We got to go out. We got to look good though, winning. We can't be like last drive pulling out a victory over Northwestern. We got to come out, play Northwestern, beat them up like we should, and then have the committee looking at that. But it's not going to be the last thing they see.
Again, style points matter if it comes down to, do we take a Notre Dame that just lost to Clemson, in a close game, or do we take Ohio State? That's when those style points will come into play.
Right. Yeah, because you're right. The Florida-Bama game, that's a play-in for Florida. Bama's in regardless.
Yeah. All right.
It would take Florida to win like by 30 for them to say, do we have to put Bama in? I mean, it would take something like that. It would be like something that ain't happening.
No. All right. Well.
Oh, hey, real quick joke. I heard Bo Bishop today on the radio said something about talking about the gold pants. Talking about the Drew Chrisman Twitter talking shit with the Michigan's punter, and he said we're talking about the Chrisman was wanting his 5th pair of pants, and Bo said something. He's like, I don't know what they want to do for the gold pants this year. Just give them all gold pants and put Ohio State minus 30.5 maybe on them.
Yeah. Might as well.
That shit like that sucks for the guys. They don't get the, that's jewelry. That shit lasts forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the memories and everything else.
Right. Well, we'll break down the Northwestern game next week and get ready for that one. Last game before next year. Assuming they still play the playoff games on the 1st. So,
This 2020, we still got 21 days, folks.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Anything can go wrong because we got.
At least that's plenty of time for any Buckeyes to quarantine.
Well, all these schools got to keep it. They can't come back from Christmas and have a bunch of positive tests because that could fuck.
I know.
Spot. So nobody's out in the woods yet, man. Until these games are played to the day of, as we've seen. So we can hope now.
I'm fine with giving players the vaccines early.
Yeah. All right, boys. Great show. We will hit you folks up next week. Don't forget to visit the website, thebuckeyecast.com, and follow us on Twitter. I'm always tweeting out some happy thoughts. We will talk to you next week. We'll get ready for Northwestern. Thanks, boys.
All right.
We'll see you
brother.
later.